Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one with a Thursday market update. So your bulls are back in short-term control after setting your daily higher lows on most indexes. The tech bulls have now reset the daily uptrend. SPY, not just yet, but QQQ looking very, very good. New daily uptrend has been set. So your bulls do regain short-term control. And that was the expectation here, guys. That's what we've been preaching on the channel. We were just looking for your daily higher lows for further trend continuation. Your bulls never lost control here of your weekly or monthly timeframes. So that was the bias. We were biased bullish. So the news came pretty much off the back this morning here of your TSM earnings. So very bullish news in terms of semiconductors, which led TSM to go up almost 10% on the day. So we're going to be covering their earnings and exactly what they reported and how your semiconductor industry stands as a whole. And also came off the bullish news of Apple getting an upgrade. Apple, having been beaten down over the past few weeks, finally gets a very bullish piece written by Morgan Stanley, which caused the stock to rally over 3% on the day. So guys, we're going to go over in today's video our TSM earnings. We're going to go over our major indexes, of course, and lastly, cover our major tech names. So without further ado, let's get right into today's video. So SPY up 0.89%, QQQ up 1.42%, and everything green across the board, which is contrary to what we had at the beginning of the week. So very nice recovery by your market bulls. In terms of the heat map here, guys, you will see that this was yesterday, and now this is today, right? So very broad market recovery as a whole. Only little healthcare stocks getting left behind in the rally, but financials performing very well. Market really led by big tech here. Apple, big green day, and semiconductors very green off the back of those TSM earnings. Very nice broad market day as a whole. This was your one-day relative performance as of yesterday, and you can see the 1 week. And now look, in only 1 day, guys, we have now reversed a lot of the damage that was done early in the week. Technology leading the way, communication services, industrials performing good, real estate and utilities still down. On the 1 week performance here, guys, you can see that tech is still our outperformer. Everything else pretty much still down on the week, but decent little recovery underway. So before we get into our technicals here, guys, let's cover TSM earnings right away. And boy, did they blow out the quarter here, guys. So take a look at this, almost up 10% on the day here, looking fairly good on your technicals as of now, inclusively of that, right? So weekly breakout just simply continues. We were always looking for the continuation of this weekly uptrend. Weekly 12 EMA was never lost, and now TSMC with a very healthy weekly breakout and just continuation here of your monthly breakout uptrend. Monthly uptrend was already set underway back in November, December, so nice to see some continuation on them. I really like TSMC anywhere below $100, and I've been preaching in the channel here a couple times throughout the year that this green box was my sweet spot, 80, pretty much $90 all the way down about 75. So hope everybody was able to pick up some shares. I had played a lot of TSMC back here in the September, October range here. So very, very healthy breakout by them. Now let's get right into your earnings. So earnings, what happened to here today, guys? They beat on EPS and they beat on revenue, double beat. But not only that, they had a very bullish guide here for 2024. So let's take a look at that right away here, guys, right? So TSM, take a look at the numbers here, guys. Very solid beats across the board. Beat revenue estimate by 0.3%. They beat the guide by 2.2. They met the gap gross profit margin estimate here, and they beat on the beat by 52.5% here. This is insane gross margins here, guys. So they beat that by about 0.5% here, right? And now you have your gap EBIT margin estimate by 60 basis points as well. So nice little bump on your EBITDA margins right here. And then obviously your net income down here. So very, very good beats here across the board. Beat on revenue, beat on EPS, increased guidance, and beat on margins as well. Your next quarter guidance is also very good. They beat the revenue estimate by 0.9%. Their revenue for the next quarter should be around 18.8 billion. They beat on the margin estimate for next quarter as well. And then they beat on the gross margin as well for next quarter too. So very, very good revenue, EPS expansion, and profit expansion by TSM as a whole here. You can see here, guys, look at these gross profit margins here over the last couple of years, right? So Q4 just coming in at 53% gross margin. I'll move myself over so you guys can see this whole EBIT margin right here. Very, very healthy as well. 41.6%, right? So this is before earnings, before interest and taxes. And your net income here, 38% for the Q4 2023. So wrapping up the year here in the high 38%. This is absolutely insane, guys. for a product manufacturer, right? Usually you only see these types of margins here in service companies or SaaS companies. Very healthy margins for a manufacturer indeed. And look at this return on shareholder equity, guys, 28.1%. If you're not too familiar with return on equity here, anything between 15 and 20% for any company is absolutely amazing numbers. Here you see they've been putting in here over 20% here for the past couple of years. So this is one of your most solid metric. It just goes to show that they are deploying capital that they are receiving from investment in a very efficient way. Very, very, very good. You can even see here on the 3-year compound annual growth rate in terms of the revenue here, 15.7% compound annual growth rate in their revenue. Very, very good. And look at this cash on hand, $54 billion in cash on hand. Their balance sheet is extremely, extremely solid here, guys. You can see that if we pull up their financials right now, they have never had a problem here in their financials over the past couple of years. Take a look down here, right, in terms of your most recent years, right? So all this blue line right here is cash and cash equivalents. Your red line is long-term debt, and your middle blue line here, the teal line, is free cash flow. So you can see, guys, cash and cash equivalent and free cash flow has always been very high over their long-term debt. Extremely well-positioned company, guys. They even paid down a lot of their debt over the course of this year, and now they're pretty much swimming in cash. Balance sheet excessively strong here for this company. One of my favorite semiconductor plays in the entire market currently. Take a look at what they said on the earnings call. This is your beautiful revenue graph, but I want to bring your attention here to the right-hand side of the screen. And this is pretty much going to be the gist of the earnings as reported by the CEO on the call. So our business has bottomed out on a year-over-year basis, cyclical business, and we expect 2024 to be a healthy growth year for TSMC, supported by continued strong ramp of our industry-leading 3nm technologies, strong demand for the 5nm technologies, and robust AI-related demand. So very good. 2023 was a bit of a transition year for TSMC. They had heavy demand in 2022. And obviously companies, due to a buildup of inventory here, they had to scale back purchases of new semiconductors in 2023. Despite them continuously rolling out products, they had built up a lot of inventory. So now most companies are through that inventory, and that's why TSMC does see a recapture of a lot of revenue here and ramping up of sales leading into this new year of 2024. Industry rebound. Coming off the steep inventory correction of 2023 for the full year 2024 now, we forecast the overall semiconductor market, excluding memory, to increase by more than 10% year over year. So they're making a comment on their entire industry, guys. Semiconductors are here to stay. They're a very booming industry. So just take a look at some of the stats here, guys, right? I want you guys to realize that the story of semiconductors is nowhere close to being finished, right? So here's your semiconductor market size from 2022 to 2023 to 2032. So pretty much over the next 9-10 years, right? Look at this expansion here, culminating in 2032 here. Expected market, total addressable market size here of $1.9 trillion. That is almost a 4x in 10 years, right? Very heavy expansion here in the semiconductor market, obviously, as more people pivot to the use of either large language models or including more semiconductors in technology, such as in cars, infotainment system, televisions, smartphones, everything, guys. Everything is moving more towards electronics, obviously, and semiconductors is pretty much the baseline for any piece of technology currently, right? So take a look at this as well, guys. If you think the AI boom is finished as well, the AI boom is not anywhere close to being finished, right? So with the influx of consumer generative, this is an article from Bloomberg, by the way, back early in the year. With the influx of consumer generative AI programs like Google's Bard and OpenAI's ChatGPT, generative AI market is poised to explode, growing to 1.3 trillion over the next 10 years from a market size of just 40 billion in 2022. So it's a brand new industry, guys. Everybody is jumping on this, and the biggest people jumping on this are your largest companies in the world here, guys. Companies like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, Google, and NVIDIA could be the biggest beneficiaries. They're also the biggest spenders in terms of that industry too, as enterprises shift more workloads to the public cloud. So take a look at this expansion of your AI industry over the next 10 years. Once again, $1.3 trillion industry here coming in 2032 from expanding just over $40 billion in 2022. Look at this growth here, guys, right? That's like a 30x, pretty much over 30x in growth of your AI markets as company pivot more to the use of generative AI. That's also to build large language models. It's to simplify employee workloads as well, and just improve online customer experiences. So all of your major companies will be pivoting to this. And TSMC is basically your picks and shovel company, right? They are supplying the semiconductors that are going to be used by a lot of these corporations such as NVIDIA, AMD, that are building these cloud infrastructures for a lot of the large companies in the world, such as Microsoft, Amazon, Oracle, Adobe, everything you could possibly think of, right? The biggest customers in the world for these semiconductors are your largest companies in the world. So this is not going away anytime soon. Take a look at this guidance here from TSM, right? So Q1 2024 guidance, based on the current business outlook, we expect our first quarter revenue to be between 18 billion and 18.8 billion, which represents a 6.2% sequential decline at the midpoint. So that's a decline in relation to 2023 last year, coming off the big boom that we had at the end of 2022, early 2023. So now, obviously, we've touched on that before. It's a cyclical business, so it should now be recovering back into early 2024. So very, very good. And here is a line that I like very much here at TSMC. A higher level of capital expenditures is also always correlated with higher growth opportunities in the following years. In the past few years, we've sharply increased our CapEx spending in preparation to capture or harvest the growth opportunities from HPC, AI, and 5G megatrends. So their CapEx budget for 2024 is between 28 to 32 billion, guys. This is the exact same CapEx that they had last year. However, this year, they'll be making more revenue. So what does that mean? We have a word for that. It's called operating leverage. When a company can keep its cost structure relatively the same, but expand revenue, expand EPS, it means they have operating leverage. It is a key metric here that we look at. So very, very, very good here. Report by TSMC. I really love this. And look, this is from the TSMC website directly, right? So here is their forecast here for the next couple of years. In the terms of the past couple of years here, this is the only foundry that consistently delivers excellent financial results. They delivered 18% revenue on a compound annual growth rate and 18.6 earnings growth in terms of compound annual growth in revenue since listing in 1994. So this is absolutely huge, guys. Every single year, if you take this on a compound annual growth rate, they've every year delivered 18% and 18.6% earnings growth since inception, or since going public in 1994. Very good. And now here's the financial objectives through 2026. See the compound annual growth rate for revenue to be between 15 to 20%, gross margin to be between 53 and 53%, and our return on equity to be at least above 25%. All of these metrics are absolutely outstanding for the company here, guys. And you can even see it on TradingView. TradingView does a great job of compiling here your forecast. Look at this EPS expansion through 2027. Absolutely crazy EPS expansion coming for the company, and further revenue growth as well. So very, very happy with this earnings for TSMC. Just goes to show you that this company is currently still expanding here, guys. And it is still relatively decently off their all-time highs, right? Still about 23% off their all-time highs. So semiconductors over the next 5 to 10 years will be, in my opinion, still one of the hottest plays. So guys, you really need to get familiar with I have a semiconductor list here, right? You need to be familiar with most of the companies here on this list over the next 5 to 10 years. They will be the companies that continue to obtain outperformance. And if you don't understand much about the industry and you just want to participate, don't forget that there is an ETF for them. It's SMH, right? So this is your semiconductors ETF as a whole here. And I do believe this ETF will continue to outperform SPY on a relative basis for the next 5 to 10 years as your AI industry comes into maturity, and as your semiconductor industry also really comes into maturity with this most recent electronics boom in semiconductors. So that's pretty much everything I had for you for TSMC. Love the company here, guys. In terms of technicals, guys, where would I pick up the company? Well, if ever we have a slight little dip here, keep an eye on this breakout retest zone. So we broke out of this previous area of resistance. So 105 now becomes beautiful support. If we do start trending a little bit down here, cooling off into this range right here, I will be looking to acquire some TSMC on the short-term trading account to ride this thing up higher over the course of the next couple of weeks, next couple of months as well. using the put wheel strategy. So with all that being said here, guys, let's get into our major indexes right away, shall we? So SPY on the day, very decently up here, 0.89% as we said. And guys, we were always just looking here for your daily higher lows to be set and daily uptrend continuation. Why? We were looking when the daily bulls lost the uptrend here, we wanted to see the size of the bounce. Now the size of the bounce got up to 100% of your most recent daily leg down. That means that it sets the bulls up beautifully to have the space to create a higher low, anything above 466.50-ish, right? Higher low for further trend continuation. You saw it best on the futures, sideways consolidation here after this move. This is a bull flag for further daily trend continuation. And why did we have a bullish lean here, guys? Because they never lost the higher time frames. Look, weekly uptrend never lost, set the higher low a couple weeks ago, just looking for weekly trend continuation. And on the monthly as well here, guys, the monthly bulls were always in full control. So we said that at the beginning of the month when we had this little dip. How am I expecting the month of January to finish? I'm pretty much expecting a doji candle, something like this, where we pull back a little bit of profit taking early in the year from last year's rally here, and then continue to march forward. So obviously we have big company earnings in terms of tech in the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how that plays out. But SPY looking very, very good here. Going to be looking to eclipse these tops right here, 478 currently level of resistance. And then the all-time high, this yellow line right here is your all-time high. SPY still not touching the all-time high. So we'll see if they can break that in the next few weeks. But bulls looking very good. Looks even healthier here, looks even better in terms of the technicals here on the futures chart as you include most of your overnight trading, right? So very good breakout here in terms of SPY. And you also have an inverse head and shoulders forming. This is a very bullish pattern as well. Now let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ with your leader on the day. The reason that most of the markets came up obviously was your QQQ up almost 1.5%. And here you really see the daily uptrend is set. So SPY still not with the daily uptrend. Daily uptrend swing is currently in motion. Need to crack the highs to really confirm that daily uptrend. But QQQ is leading the market in terms of that. So QQQ, same analysis, right? Lost the daily uptrend by losing these lows right here. Then we were looking for the size of the bounce. The bounce got almost 95% of this whole downswing up here. That means the bulls created enough space to set a daily higher low, anything above 395, pretty much looking for the daily higher low in the moving averages for a potential bull break daily trend recapture to the upside. That's what you get when you get such a sizable bounce, guys. The bulls create enough space to reset the daily uptrend, and they've just done that today. So daily uptrend is now reset to the bulls. Keep an eye, guys. We are now currently standing pretty much at your all-time high levels, right? So really above your previous all-time highs. Previous all-time highs on QQQ was pretty much 408.71. We're past that now in the 413 range. So still battling with our late December highs right here, very last area of resistance, and then it's pretty much blue sky breakout in terms of QQQ. So now, guys, any pullback at this point, whenever this move tops out, we were looking, keep an eye, guys, I told you, right? We were looking for the hourly trend change at the end of yesterday's video. We said that if they maintain this hourly uptrend into today, that your daily higher low was set, and we're just looking for continuation by the bulls. That's exactly what happened, reacting beautifully from your moving averages. Daily uptrend is set. Your weekly bulls were always in control as well. Weekly higher low was set 2 weeks ago here, 395.50. Now just moving on to leg number 3 of your upswing right here. Obviously on the monthly, everything is looking great. Bulls in full control as well. So just continuation at this point from your bulls. Any pullback at this point here, guys, looking for a higher low, anything above 403, just for a daily higher low for further trend continuation. Now moving on to XLF Financials. So XLF Financials still trading below your daily 12 EMA right here, right? But decent day on financials, 0.16% to the upside, right? So most earnings by financials actually ended up red because of the one-time charges. We covered them all pretty much on the channel, but decent little recovery right here. So financials having lost the daily uptrend, right? So now setting the daily downtrend right now, we are looking for the size of the bounce. How high can the bounce get in relation to our most recent lower high right here, right? $37.98, let's call it $38. Need to see the bounce get as close as possible to this to give the bulls the chance to reset the daily uptrend, similar to what you just saw on QQQ and SPY, right? So while XLF was taking a little bit of a breather, QQQ largely making up for that in the gains, and that's what you like to see, healthy market rotation. So now on the weekly chart, once we know that our daily downtrend is set here, guys, we're just looking for weekly consolidation. Like we said, it is due for weekly consolidation, and the area of support is between $37 and $36. You can see bulls starting to react nicely from that zone. Your 12 EMA is slightly lower here, 36.50-ish. So if we do just continue to set a lower high into lower lows, further daily downtrend, that's okay. Bulls with tons of space for the weekly higher low, anything above 31.40, guys, just for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation. So keep an eye on that. Financials still looking healthy despite having lost the short term. Bulls still in control of your weekly, and obviously still in control of your monthly uptrend as well. Now let's move down to XLV Healthcare. XLV Healthcare had a very negative start to the day here, guys, right? So gap down open pretty much from yesterday's close. We're talking about, they were down almost 1.6% and recovering very good intraday. So XLV Healthcare, similar to financials, excuse me, had run a lot, and they were just looking for a pullback. While QQQ was pulling back, you can see financials were not pulling back, we're maintaining flat, and healthcare neither was not pulling back while QQQ pulled back. Now, while QQQ rises, well, now what do we get? We get the pullback in financials and we get the pullback in healthcare. So rotation is healthy at this point. What are we looking for here, guys? Well, we just lost the daily higher highs and higher lows. So bears cut the lows right here, 138.55. So now we are looking, can the bulls recapture this with a 100% recapture of the move, similar to something that SPY and QQQ did? Or will we set the daily downtrend here? The worst case scenario is setting the daily downtrend, but that's okay. Why is that okay? Tons of space on the weekly here, guys, right? So tons of space after 10, 11 weeks of rally. Any daily downtrend at this point, guys, we'll just be looking for a weekly higher low. Anything above 122.71, looking for a weekly higher low. Keep an eye on this level of support right here, 136.50, the top end of this big range right here. Your moving averages are slightly below that as well. So this should be a very good area for the bulls to be able to do a breakout, retest of the zone before potential trend continuation. So keep a close eye on that. As soon as we bounce, measure the size of the bounce. The higher the bounce, the higher the probabilities the bulls can shape up a daily trend recapture, similar to exactly what QQQ just did right now, right? High bounce, daily trend recapture, and SPY, same thing. High bounce, potential daily trend recapture. Now moving on to IWM Russell. IWM, still one of your weakest sectors here, right? So IWM Russell over the past couple of weeks has come down a lot, and that is mostly due to your yields, right? So take a look at yields, guys. Yields have been on the upswing here, even over the past day, despite your market rally, right? So yields currently in a daily uptrend, but that's okay, guys, even if we're in a little bit of a daily uptrend here, as speculation in terms of rates staying higher for longer continues to plague these yields. I do believe that this is just speculation and pretty much weekly recovery right now. So weekly downtrend, guys, is pretty much inevitable with such a big move down. Just looking for a lower high on yields before potential continuation to the downside here, especially with rate cuts later this year. This is definitely going to come down on your long term as well. I do think yields peaked all the way back here in October. Now we're just looking pretty much to just continue this monthly downswing right now. And even on the 10-year yields, you can see 10-year yields as well, right? Daily uptrend is in motion by the bulls, but just a little bit of slight recovery here on the weekly. I'm still expecting a weekly lower high before lower low continuation with those rate cuts later on in the year. So even though rates have been coming up here, guys, and they've been hurting growth stocks, I do believe it is just temporary for the moment. So IWM being plagued by most of this yield rise, which is why you've had a bigger drop in your growth stocks. So daily downtrend is currently confirmed by the bears at this point. We're looking for the size of the bounce. How do you know that your daily move down is finished? Keep an eye. Hourly uptrend is going to be key here. So can they set a confirmed hourly uptrend? Still just losing it. They can't get it to happen for over 2 days. Look, they haven't been able to confirm an hourly consistent uptrend here for more than 2 days over the past couple of weeks. So into tomorrow's trading, we'll be looking for the continuation of the hourly uptrend. If we can get continued hourly uptrend into tomorrow for 2 days, your daily bounce is currently underway. We need to measure the size of the bounce in relation to 197.10. Get me as close as possible to 197.10, and then the bulls have some space to where they could potentially reset for a new daily uptrend. But as of now, bears are in short-term control. We're looking for the lower high. It's just a question, how high will that lower high be? Will it be shallow before losing the hourly for further daily downtrend continuation, or will it be good enough to to give us space for a new daily uptrend here. Your support levels down here, guys, 187 pretty much all the way down to about 184 short-term support level, which also coincides to your weekly levels too, right? So the midpoint of this range, guys, is really between about 187 and about your 180, 182 mark right here. So this is the midpoint of the zone. All your moving averages are there as well. And on the weekly, we're just looking for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation here. So keep an eye. This zone is going to be very big support by the bulls. So we'll keep an eye on our short-term daily, and we'll also keep an eye on this weekly trend as well. But for now, they are still looking weak. Need to see the bulls recapture the daily uptrend. As soon as they recapture the daily uptrend, you know that your weekly higher low is set. And then we're moving on to further continuation of the upside. And now lastly, Dow Jones here. Dow Jones making good recovery here, guys, 0.4% to the upside. So Dow Jones, kind of like financials, pretty much lost the daily uptrend. So had the daily uptrend going here, higher low, higher high, now lower low. So they lost the low right here. So now we'll be looking, can the bulls recapture this move in one-time V shape, or will they set a lower high and lower low continuation? Either or is good. Obviously, if they just recapture this in V shape, well, your daily trend just continues to the upside. Your weekly bull flag has been set and just on for a second leg of continuation here on the weekly. Why do we have a bullish lean, guys? Even if we lose this daily time frame right here, it is still just looking for a weekly higher low. And look at this beautiful sideways consolidation by the Dow Jones over the past month. It has cooled down our RSI, so we're no longer overbought, and we're just setting a weekly bull flag here, guys. Look at the size of this move, and then look at the size of 4 weeks of consolidation. Nothing, right? So almost no pullback at all. That's what shows that your bulls are still strong. If we do pull back, there's a very juicy area of support here, guys. Our previous all-time highs on the Dow Jones, anywhere between 36,900 and 36,400-ish. That's going to be the pullback area. Weekly 12 EMA is right there as well. So even if we continue this slight daily downtrend, guys, I do believe that is still just a weekly bull flag for further continuation, and monthly bulls full control as well. So no red flags at all on the Dow Jones. Now let's do a little bit of crypto. So crypto, Bitcoin, sell the news event after the ETF, right? Now we have a daily downtrend continuation by the bears. So losing the daily trend, now we have to look for weekly consolidation. You can see this nasty doji candle pulling into our area of resistance right here, which is between 47 and 52. So it's very possible that Bitcoin goes for a little bit further weekly consolidation at this point, guys. My buy zone, 38 to 36,000 for an add on Bitcoin myself. Looking like we are going to head into weekly consolidation. They're pretty much at the line in the sand level here, guys, right? This level right here, 40,400 is going to be your line in the sand. Break that, you lose your weekly structure, and we are potentially going into further weekly consolidation, potentially all the way through January and February as well. I'm still very bullish on crypto. Why? Your bulls control the longer term time frames. If we do set a weekly downtrend here for the next couple of weeks into the next month or so, just looking for a monthly higher low. And look, Bitcoin does this, right? Sets the monthly uptrend right in motion. Monthly higher lows are set. Further expansion. Now we're looking maybe for another monthly higher low before a future stab at this range right here. So Bitcoin pullbacks are still healthy, but short-term bears are now in control. You can see trading under the moving averages after having held them for so long, pretty much since our October-November rally. Now moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum still holding up better than Bitcoin, in my opinion, even though they as well have set the daily downtrend at this moment here, guys. We have a very big area of support, right? Look at this area, 2,400-ish, 2,375. That's going to be your next area of support. So keep an eye on that level here, guys. And that's going to be your larger form support. So daily downtrend is in motion right now by the bears, which leads us into weekly consolidation. So Ethereum still looking very healthy, still a weekly uptrend at this point. Bulls with tons of space, anything above 2140 is just looking for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation here. And even on the monthly's looking very healthy. Monthly trend breakout as well. So even if we do potentially lose this weekly uptrend, set a weekly downtrend into our big area of support, we're talking about 21 all the way down to 1950. This is pretty much on your higher time frame support, right? That is just for a monthly higher low. Your monthly moving averages are there as well. Should be a very decent area of support for Ethereum for further monthly continuation into 2024. As soon as we get rate decreases and the market goes a little bit risk on in terms of risk on assets, growth stocks, crypto is going to be included in that as well. So I'm expecting good things out of crypto here, but no real tremendous bull rallies in terms of continuation, maybe until the halving event for Bitcoin in April. And then obviously after the rate cuts is going to be the go signal for most of crypto as well. Now let's move into our major tech stocks here, shall we? So major tech, Apple, starting off the day, Apple got a very big price increase here by Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley saying that Apple shares could rise as much as 25% this year. So Apple obviously rallying very nicely on the news. Now, we were looking, could Apple bulls set the double bottom here and muster a little bit of a rally? Well, in one day, guys, they have. So it was a daily downtrend this entire time. The size of the bounce was weak, and then the bears started re-challenging these lows right here in my sweet spot. This is why I've highlighted this area as a big area of support. It's always been a big area of support in the past for Apple here, 180 all the way down to about 175. And we featured Apple in the early week video here where we said if it got back down into the lower 180 area, this was a very juicy area to be shopping for short put options for some good premium. So I hope a couple of you guys were able to get that. Today, the contracts in the lower 180s were most likely worthless. So very good trade there indeed. Now, Apple setting the new daily uptrend, right? Double bottom, higher high. Daily uptrend is now set by the bulls, which means your weekly lows are set. So at this point, guys, we will be looking to see how much of this weekly move down can the bulls recapture. The more space that they create, the more chance that they have at getting the new weekly uptrend or just continuing with the V-shaped recovery here to all-time highs. So Apple bulls looking very healthy. Any pullback at this point, just going to be looking for a daily higher low, anything above 180.42, going to be looking daily higher low for further trend continuation. And now this area right here, 186, previous resistance should be acting as nice support. Your 12 EMA is down there as well. So Apple should have a fairly good probability here of really being able to reset the daily uptrend to the upside. So very good recovery by Apple. And obviously on the monthly, guys, we were just always looking for a monthly tightening range right here. It is having a fairly bullish lean as well. Consolidation here at the top end of your monthly upswing, looking very good for monthly continuation through 2024. AMD, guys, AMD, new all-time highs on AMD, previous highs on all-time highs on AMD, 164.50-ish today, topping out at about 168.60. Very healthy move by AMD. So new all-time highs have now been cracked by AMD. Very good performance indeed. And we were always looking for this here, guys, right? Daily uptrend just currently in motion right now, right? So daily uptrend lost by the bears. 100% bounce. This looks exactly like QQQ. Daily bull flag right here, right? Trying to set the daily higher low, anything above 133.79, set the daily higher low into daily trend, new daily uptrend continuation at this point, right? So now the bulls created so much space. When this move tops out, just looking for a higher low, anything pretty much above 144.29, looking for a daily higher low for further trend continuation. No red flags on the daily, no red flags on the weekly. Beautiful weekly uptrend here. Your higher low on the weekly is all the way down at 134. So even, guys, if we do set a daily downtrend all the way up here, guys, anything on the weekly above 134.30, just looking for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation. And monthly, guys, monthly bulls, full control of AMD at this point. So very happy for them. Hope you guys were able to snag some shares the whole time we were talking about it, all of last year, pretty much in the 110 all the way down to about $100 range. I was very bullish on the stock. We played it a ton last year, made a bunch of money on AMD. And now I hope you guys are able to add some long-term shares as well, because now we're just letting those shares ride. So beautiful expansion by AMD as a whole. And AMD with earnings here in the next 2 weeks, I expect them to put out some very good earnings and very good guidance in terms of your cloud computing segment. Now moving on to Amazon. Amazon performing fairly well here as well here, guys, right? So Amazon very good after having lost the daily uptrend. We put in 100% move here, right? So we engulf the entire bear leg down now using this area as support. So the bulls have created a ton of space, daily higher low for further trend continuation here. Daily uptrend looks like it wants to be recaptured by the bulls, reacting beautifully from your moving averages. Keep an eye, your support level is still set 148 all the way down to 140. I know it's kind of wide, but that's really encompassing everything on the weekly time frame. You see it best on the weekly time frame, right? So very good price expansion by Amazon right here, recovering nicely intraday, 1.18%, daily higher low pretty much, and now we're looking for them to take out 157. If they take out 157 here, guys, your next area that I've always been saying on the weekly here, guys, right, looking very good. Weekly higher low is set for further leg up here. The leg up is going to take you roughly into the 165 to 170 zone on Amazon. Amazon obviously with earnings also in the next 2 weeks. So keep a very close eye on that, guys. And if for some which reason we lose this to the downside and the bear set a daily downtrend, well, this area is going to be very big support here. And your weekly higher lows are pretty much set 145. So Apple bulls still do have a little bit of wiggle room Amazon bulls. And now look, monthly uptrend well in motion. So no red flags on any time frames by Amazon. Amazon bulls doing a great job here defending above this whole range of consolidation. Now moving on to Google, give me a quick second. Excuse me, I always seem to drink my coffee when we do Google, right? So Google, very nice price recovery here, 1.5% to the upside. So Google, excuse me, never having lost the daily uptrend. So you can see higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and now higher lows being set yesterday, really close to pretty much in our level of support, right? So your level of support, I'll remind you on the weekly, you see it more clearly. It was 141 all the way down to about 138. This was resistance so much in the past. So very logical that the bulls are using this area as current support. Everything looking good, never lost the daily uptrend, always looking for a daily higher low. Anything above 137 pretty much was just a daily higher low for further trend continuation. Google using this area of support very beautifully. Moving averages are support. This whole 141 and 138 support as well. Now we're just looking for trend continuation. If you smash your previous highs right here, guys, your next area of resistance is your all-time highs. 150, 151, and everything is looking very, very good. Weekly trend is full in control and monthly trend is in full control by the bulls as well. So Google, no red flags at all. Google with earnings here in the next 2 weeks. And I do expect Google also to have some very bullish earnings for Q1 and also for guidance for 2024. Moving on to Meta and Google. Google never lost the daily uptrend during this whole early year sell-off here. Meta as well, never lost the daily uptrend, right? So look at this beautiful daily uptrend right here by Meta. Higher low was set yesterday. We have almost a new high today. So your higher low was set yesterday here. 358, 357. Beautiful daily uptrend continuation right here. On the weekly, everything is looking gorgeous on Meta. Weekly uptrend continuation as well. Higher low was set a couple weeks back at around your 341 mark, and no red flags on the monthly either. Monthly is looking very good. Your next area of resistance, 385, guys. So any move lower at this point, as soon as this most recent daily leg higher does top out, just looking for a daily higher low, anything above 359. And let's say for every which reason we lose this series of higher lows and they set a daily downtrend here, well, so much space on the weekly, guys. Anything above 341, just going to be for a weekly higher low on Meta, right? So Meta with some good space here by the bulls, right? So they can drop pretty much 10% before they have to set the higher low. So very good continuation here by Meta. Microsoft also with some beautiful continuation here. So we were saying, guys, when this move tops out, looking for a daily higher low for further trend continuation. They pretty much set it here in one single day before moving higher pretty much. So very good. Daily uptrend confirmed by the bulls after breaking this range right here. Daily higher low was set yesterday pretty much, 384.76. Now we're just looking for further trend continuation to the upside. Microsoft on the weekly looking very bullish as well. This was a weekly bull flag, tightening range at the top end of a weekly move. That's what you want to see. That is the best case scenario for your bulls. Now you have a weekly trend breakout right now by Microsoft. New all-time highs, and obviously on the monthly, everything looking absolutely gorgeous for Microsoft. Monthly uptrend as well. Microsoft with earnings here in 2 weeks as well. Going to be expecting bullish things from Microsoft too over the course of 2024 as they continue expanding their AI ventures. And obviously, Microsoft with one of the most solid balance sheets in the entire market, not expecting that to change either. So everything is working for the bulls at this point. No red flags whatsoever. If we do for some reason lose this daily uptrend into a daily downtrend down the line, just know, guys, that they have tons and tons of space. Anything above 366, just looking for a weekly higher low for further trend continuation, guys. They can afford a pullback, about 7% before being worried about losing that weekly uptrend. And with just breaking this range after so much continuation, so much consolidation, I do believe that we do get a bit more continuation here to the upside. Now moving on to Netflix. So Netflix, guys, looking decent, recovering nicely here, 1% intraday. But like I said, guys, earnings on Tuesday. It's going to be tough for Netflix to put in much price action before their earnings here, right? So we're really capped here. Resistance is set pretty much at your $500 and your daily higher low is 463. So we're currently looking to reset the daily uptrend to the bulls after having lost it here, daily downtrend. 100% plus engulfing move by the bulls. Now we're looking to set the daily higher low, anything above 460, 463-ish, just looking for a daily higher low for further trend continuation. But with so few sessions left before earnings, guys, this could go either way on the day of earnings. We're either going to crack 500, which is just going to perpetuate this weekly uptrend, beautiful weekly uptrend currently right now for Netflix, or we're going to smash it to the downside and set pretty much a daily downtrend for the bulls, for the bears, excuse me, and we'll be into weekly consolidation at that point. But if we do end up with weekly consolidation, keep an eye. 450, 425, huge support, and it would be looking for a monthly higher low in this area for further trend continuation in 2024. I like Netflix, nothing bad to say about the company. They've done a great job here with subscriber growth over the past year and a bit here after really falling off over the course of 2022. They've done a great job of really turning back on the subscriber growth, new advertising tiers. The shows that they put out are very, very margin efficient shows. They'll pay for new shows anywhere between 20 to 60, 80 million dollars. And then in terms of the gross revenue they make on that, we're talking about 150, 200, 300 million dollars. So the return on capital for the shows that they make is one of the best in the industry. Compare that with Disney that makes movies for $300, $400, $500 million and then brings in that same amount for the box office, maybe just a bit more. The return on capital for Netflix for their shows is a lot better than the rest of the industry. That's why they are one of the industry leaders currently. So Netflix looking very good, but limited price action available in my opinion before earnings. Now moving on to NVIDIA. NVIDIA, guys, NVIDIA just continues this daily move to the upside, right? NVIDIA is just so funny every time because when you least expect, you expect these moves to be topped out, right? When we get overbought, but they just continue, guys. And I'll always remind you guys that NVIDIA is not that expensive. I know that the price, the trailing 12 months, Sev says 74, but you have to keep in mind, guys, that they've been in expanding revenue verticals, right? So you cannot think that NVIDIA is the same company as it was prior to their expansion of verticals into this GPU warehousing for cloud infrastructure business. It's an entirely new sales vertical. Look at this EPS expansion, right? So we'll see what they report in February here, but look at the end of 2024 EPS, right? End of 2024 EPS is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking about almost $21. So even at a share price, guys, of about $570, if you divide that by 2024 end EPS of about 21, they're only trading at about 27 forward price to earnings ratio, right? And if you take that from 2025 even, right, 571, divided by your roughly 24.08, let's call it here, over here in 2025, they're only trading about 2023 forward or price to earnings for 2025. So that's why NVIDIA is still cheap despite all of this price increase, guys. You have to keep in mind, guys, that they are growing their earnings very, very aggressively. So that's why the company can just continue to rise. Daily uptrend is well in motion at this point, right? So daily swing is moving higher. Any pullback just for a daily higher low above 471.35. Obviously, the top end of this range is going to be your support, which currently stands at 501. First line in the sand is going to be your 12 EMA right here. So we'll see if the bulls can defend that. Any pullback. And how do you know this daily move is topped out, guys? Need to say loss of the hourly trend. You can see they haven't lost the hourly trend this entire time. When they do lose the hourly trend, you will know that daily consolidation is started at that point. And bulls with so much space, look at the amount of space, guys, we're talking about here. They can pull back literally, 17% and still not lose the daily higher low. So that's an incredible amount by NVIDIA. NVIDIA looking very bullish. Weekly tightening range right here, expansion right now. So weekly uptrend is now set. Any weekly pullback as well, just for a higher low above 477. So everything looking great for the bulls here. Monthly uptrend as well. No red flags at all. Now our three last ones. Tesla, guys, another down day for Tesla here. So 1.7% of the downside. And it'll just continue, guys. As I was saying, if you cannot regain an hourly uptrend here, right, you will not start having a daily move higher. So step number one is you need to set an hourly uptrend in motion. This is an overnight after hours session, so it doesn't really count. you need to see the hourly uptrend play into regular market hours, and that has not happened for Tesla. So as long as they can't reverse this into an hourly uptrend, this daily consolidation simply just continues. Daily bears in full control of this downtrend currently, and I know there's a lot of lines on the chart right now, so this green box is my sweet spot for Tesla stock, 230 all the way down to 200, but I'm not buying it yet until I can see a recapture of the hourly uptrend. I don't want to be writing some puts into a falling knife scenario. Right, so I'll be looking after earnings potentially. If earnings really are a disaster here after all the price cuts and the tumultuousness in the Red Sea in terms of shipping parts to their Berlin factory, if earnings is a disaster, guys, we are going to revisit sub $200. I will be shopping at that point around for short puts around the 180. 180 represents a very big area of support in the past. We're talking 180 all the way down to pretty much 160. That is where I'll be shopping for Tesla. I know it's a considerable amount of I know it's a considerable amount off the current share price, but earnings is next Wednesday. So we'll see what that happens. You guys know when Tesla has bad earnings, they tend to drop a lot. Take a look at this one back here. After earnings, we had a 9% drop followed by another 3% drop, right? So it does drop 10 to 15% after bad earnings. Even here we had bullish earnings, but we had bad guidance back here in July, right? So you saw after that, it dropped to 10%, followed up in the next few days, another extra couple percent, right? So 10% drop if they have bad earnings from here, guys, is pretty much those levels, right? We're talking about 185, 187-ish. So that's why I'll be shopping down there. So bears in full short-term control currently, right? We're still stuck in this downtrending channel, and this 180 level will be the bottom end of that range. So that is where I'm shopping for Tesla currently. Bulls just completely losing this weekly uptrend as well here. So weekly downswing well in motion by the bears. No weekly downtrend, still needs a lower high, lower low for weekly downtrend. And even on the monthly here, guys, monthly higher lows, 199. So if we flush those monthly higher lows, be a new monthly downtrend for Tesla. Unfortunately, after such a good start in 2023, monthly uptrend, looking for the monthly higher low continuation, just really falling apart here, guys. Very tough industry to be in right now, right? Increasing interest rates, what's happening in the Red Sea right now. So they're just getting hit from all sides. They're having to reduce prices on their models they have a price war in China, so they have to reduce prices over there. They have to reduce prices in America because of high interest rates and lower demand because everybody finances their vehicles. And now on top of that, they have to shut down factories because of parts situation in terms of supplies in the Red Sea, right? So getting hit from all sides. Not a good time for Tesla right now, but will be providing us with a decent buying opportunity if ever we get lower than that. Now we've gone to Palantir and PayPal. So Palantir, you know, recovering slightly intraday here, ending the day flat. They were a bit higher on the day, but pulling back ever so slightly here, ending midway. So we're still looking for Palantir to get a recapture of the daily uptrend. That is step number one. So recapture this daily uptrend, break of resistance of about $17. Need to get this daily uptrend in motion. If they do set the daily uptrend, then you know your weekly lower low is set. And then we'll be looking how high can the bounce get in relation to our previous lower high, 1850, right? So weekly downtrend, need to see. As soon as they get the daily bounce underway here with the daily uptrend, you know your weekly bounce is underway too. Then we need to get as high as possible to 1850 to get ourselves back in a weekly uptrend as well. So step number one, need the bulls to recapture this daily uptrend. If for whatever which reason we roll over in the next couple of days, reset the daily downtrend, well, your larger area of support is this 1550 all the way down to $14 range. That is where I will personally be picking up more shares of Palantir. So we'll see how it goes. Palantir with earnings here in the next 2 weeks, early February as well. Now, lastly, PayPal. PayPal, very good last 2 days for PayPal here, guys, right? Bottom to top, PayPal with a heck of a recovery, 10% in 2 days. I mean, you could go back on the chart here, guys, and try to find when has PayPal put in 10% in the last 2 days. Not very often over the past year and a bit, right? So very good performance by PayPal, protecting this area right here. This area was your area of support here, guys, right? $60 roughly on 57, 60 to 57, big area of support, big area of previous support right here, big area of resistance and now it's playing back as an area of support. You can see every time the price tries to come down in here, it's been using previous price history to really bounce out of there healthily. So now PayPal trying to set the double bottom into pretty much a trend reversal. This kind of looks like exactly what Apple did, right? Over the past couple of days, looking to set the double bottom and trend reversal. So we're going to try to look for that on PayPal as well. That would be pretty much a, a continued break here of your 62 level, barely breaking it here today, not enough. So we'll see if they continue that tomorrow. Daily uptrend is recaptured to the bulls, and then finally your weekly higher lows will be set here. Excuse me, the chart's not moving. All right, so the chart's not moving. So we were just still looking for weekly higher lows to be set for further trend continuation up towards the higher 64 range. And to be breaking, guys, we need to be breaking this $65 downtrending channel line right here. That would really be a break of long-term structure for PayPal and probably the start of price expansion to the upside. Very curious to see what they say on earnings. The CEO came on CNBC. The new CEO was on CNBC yesterday and said he had some very good things for the company into 2024. So we're all curious to know what those are going to be. He gave a little bit of hints. So they're going to be revamping the apps, and they're going to be mobilizing more of their consumer data to help small businesses back in return. So we'll see what they're going to do, but I like the new CEO and how he's approaching this. Very solid CEO, by the way. He used to be at Intuit. Intuit is one of the most solid companies in the markets, and he has a ton of experience because Intuit is really catered towards small businesses. So he should be able to use that similar experience and use Intuit's profit margin and revenue expansion structure to really help bring a lot of that to PayPal. So curious to see what happens. Now, obviously, your overhead levels, guys, 64, right? 64, we need to break this downtrending trend line as well, and this overhead support. If we get through this, guys, it will be very big for PayPal, but looking good here, guys, really looking good. So that's pretty much everything I had for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider dropping a like, would appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'd love to have you here. We do these videos every single day after the close. And as usual, guys, if you have any questions at all, stocks, technical analysis, macro, options, you name it, leave it down below in the comments and I'll be happy to answer you. I'll see you guys tomorrow after the close on Friday. Take care. Peace.